What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be a bit of a tech nerd today because yeah, why not? Like I haven't made these videos for quite a while now. I remember back then when I was making so many videos on virtual machines, and they never really went that well. So I decided to make it a bit more complete in this video. So I'm going to be teaching you guys exactly what a virtual machine is and how to create one, and like exactly what you can do with it. So here I have like the free application by Oracle. You can create easy virtual machines on here without any sort of hassle or like anything like that. There are also other applications like VMware which works the same way, but those are more paid for. But we have VirtualBox here. So basically, what is a virtual machine? Like think of it as you are running an operating system on top of the one that you already have. Um, so basically, yeah, so right now I'm running Windows 10 on here, and like if I click on new, then I could run many different operating systems on this computer. And yeah, like this, and like this just like it's like this pretty much acts like a separate PC. So we can configure how much CPU we're going to give it, how much RAM we're going to give it, all that stuff. So bear in mind that this will take resources from the specs that you already have. So that's why when creating these virtual machines, like you shouldn't really max how much of the resources you are giving it. So we're going to be creating a simple virtual machine. I'm going to be using Windows 3.1 for this. So first of all, like you need a decent PC to run this, obviously, with more than enough resources, so that your computer doesn't lag in the background. Next, you're going to need some image files. So these are also known as IMG files or ISO files, and these contain the resources that I need to install the operating system. So generally, like if you search them on the internet, then they should be there. Like just search, I don't know, Windows 7 ISO or something like that. Like if you're planning to run, like servers, then you're going to need product keys. But say for operating systems like Windows 7, I mean, like you might be asked to activate it, but like you can skip it if you want. Just the trial version, if you're just trying it out. So that's my word of advice for this. You're going to need some product keys and stuff like that, but like apart from that, trial versions are fine. So yeah, let's get started. So just simply click new. So I'm just going to type in Windows 3.1. There we go, and then we can allocate the just before we do this, like you can switch to advanced mode or guided mode. I'm just on advanced mode here because it's more easier. I'm just going to allocate like 256 megabytes of RAM. I mean, that's pretty much more than enough for Windows 3.1. And then we can press create, and then I'm going to make the hard drive 2 gigabytes for this one, and then leave all these settings the same. So it has to be a VirtualBox disk image, so it'll see it as a normal hard drive, and then it'll be dynamically allocated. So yeah, that's it. And then press create. And then next, once the virtual machine is created, we have to configure it. So go to settings for this one. So don't start it right away because nothing's loaded in. So nothing to sort out in general. So system, this is where we configure all the CPU and stuff like that. So right now I have a dual core CPU, and we can actually configure it to use all 2 cores. But right now I can't because obviously it says invalid settings detected. So yeah, for Windows operating systems, you have to enable input output, and also enable hardware clocking UTC time just to get the flipping time right. Don't enable EFI because those are for like OSs like Mac OS, but we're not installing that today. So yeah, now we can enable the 2 cores. So I'm just going to do 1 core because it's Windows 3.1. It doesn't need that much. Display here, we can configure the graphics memory. So right now my graphics card is quite crap. It's only 128 megabytes, but this will be a different number depending on the graphics card that you have. So I mean 40 megabytes is fine. I'm just going to do it to like, I don't know, 32. There we go. There we go, and like that's about it to do with the display. Next up, storage. So this is where we can, so like this is where you can put your ISO files in, and also like depending on what OS you're installing, like you can add like loads of other controllers as well. So for example, a USB controller, so you can hook up a USB drive and loads of other stuff here, SATA, SATA drives, SAS drives. There's loads of stuff here they could just mess about and configure with. So here, click on the disk drive, and then here, choose a disk file. So this is where you can insert your ISO files. So I'm just gonna go to my ISO files real quick. There we go. So Windows 3.1. So since that is not an operating system on its own, because Windows 3.1 actually runs on top of DOS. So we need to install DOS first. So I've got DOS 7.1 here. It's a typical operating system of its time, and then the rest I think is fine. The audio and network and all that stuff is already configured automatically. Shared folders. I mean, Windows 3.1 doesn't even have networking. So, all right, there we go. After that, and then you can click OK, and then actually start the virtual machine. All right, so here we go. Yeah, so there we go. So we're in the DOS installation CD menu, and like you can see how it's running. So basically, you can see everything at the bottom here, how the hard drive is working, how everything else is working. I just started the setup automatically, but yeah, I'm just gonna make this bigger a bit because yeah, there we go. There's the full window. Okay, so to set up DOS, I mean, we don't even need to do that much. We just need to partition the drive so that I can set up. So continue everything. Normally, if you were on a real PC, then like you would have to partition the drive before you run the setup. But this setup is created so it can like do everything automatically in the setup. So yeah, there we go. Like you can see, it's creating the partition for 2 GB, and then we just got to restart it. Yeah, there we go. So now it will install MS-DOS in a path that we can create pretty much. It should ask us to create it as well. Yeah, there we go. And it's quite a short installation anyway, so we don't need add-ons. We just need the normal installation. We don't need Access DOS. And there we go. It's unpacking the necessary files. I mean, DOS takes seconds to install. I mean, it's quite a small operating system. Yeah, at the time, I mean, like the history of operating systems, man, like you could do loads on DOS at the time. And pretty much, like if you're a guy into retro tech, then I mean, like this could be for you. Like you could try this out, experience old operating systems, because yeah, not really, like, unless you were born a long time ago, then not many people know about Windows 3.1 or even the old operating systems because they're so used to Windows 10. So I mean, it makes sense. But yeah, only the OGs will remember this. USB memory, yes, that's fine. CD-ROM drives, I mean, yeah, screw it, it's fine. We don't need, yeah, I mean, like, we just need the base, it's fine. And US International, yeah, there we go. All right, there we go. So DOS is complete. So now pretty much, before you press yes, take the ISO file out. So then when you reboot it, it doesn't reboot back to the setup page. So once we reboot, we should come up with DOS. Yep, there we go. As you can see, starting up. And there we go. So now we can clear all this, and then we can check. So if most of you don't know how to use DOS, then I'll teach you a few commands. So basically, CLS is to clear the whole screen. DIR is to show the directory. So like this is pretty much the equivalent of opening File Explorer and looking at the C drive, basically. And CD, and then a folder name. So for example, there's one folder here. So DOS71. We will so basically, like CD command is basically to navigate to a folder. So if I press enter, then there we go, it's navigated to the DOS71 folder, and then if we press dir, then it shows us everything that's in there. So it's just a bunch of OS files, and then it says CLS to clear it. And also, like another way to view files here is to press to type dir/w, and that will view the files in a sort of column way instead of like viewing every single detail, so you can see everything. And then if you want to go back to a folder, then you just do cd and then two dots, and then it will take you back to the C drive. It's quite simple, like if you want to view more commands, then just press help. And then yeah, for a full list of MS, yeah, so like just type this, and then there we go. So yeah, like there's loads of commands here, and then just Control C to just exit out of that. So that's DOS. But we are supposed to install Windows 3.1. So now what we're going to do is go to optical drives, choose a disk file, and then we're going to insert our Windows 3.1 ISO. And by the way, like if you want to try these out, then I'll link these two ISOs in the description, so you can like it's less stress for you to search it up. I'll just provide the basic needs for you, and then you can take care of the rest later. So Windows 3.1 ISO, so there we go, it's been inserted. So now the DVD drive or CD drive is usually automatically configured as the D drive. So for this, like you can use the CD command, but you can also simply type in D and then colon, and then there we go, it will automatically take you to the D drive, and then just to check if it's the right stuff. Yeah, there we go. So there's all the Windows 3.1 ISO file. That was a lot there. Let's clear that off, and then just simply press type in setup, and then there we go. With Windows 3.1, it is usually set up. Yeah, so we'll do the express setup, whatever. Yeah, it's copying the files. There we go. So Windows setup, we'll just name it a virtual machine. And yeah, Windows 3.1 was also a really small operating system back then as well. So there we go. Like you can see what's happening there. So MS-DOS editor. Yeah, we don't need the tutorial, screw it. Okay, like it's already done. See that? Like it literally took seconds just to install Windows 3.1. So now we can just remove the disk and then reboot pretty much, and then we will be back in DOS. Alright, so now we're back in DOS, so we can clear all this out. And basically, yeah, so like if we check dir, then there we go. Like you can see that we have a Windows directory there. But I mean, like to boot into Windows 3.1, like you don't even need to go there, but like you can if you want. So I'm just going to go to CD and then Windows, and then what we need to do is like to boot into Windows 3.1 is just type in Win, and then there we go. So we are in Windows 3.1. That's it. It's pretty damn easy, and there we go. If we go to About Program Manager, there we go. So like, this is actually Windows 3.11. Huh, mad. And then yeah, like like you can see that the virtual machine assumes that we have 256 megabytes of RAM, which is exactly what we put in. But my PC actually has more than that enough RAM. So if I open Task Manager up here, then I can see that the RAM is being used. So right now I have 12 gigabytes here, so 5.6 being used up, but that's because I have several applications running in the background. But if we check, where is it, VirtualBox, then there we go. Like yeah, so like you can see that it's split into two there. So yeah, so pretty much, and then also the CPU, yeah, it is using quite a bit of one core. So I can evidently see that it is working well. And there we go. So like pretty much that's how you install Windows 3.1 on a virtual machine. It's pretty much the same principle for other operating systems. Just loading the ISO file and then you're good to go. It'll act just like as if you were installing Windows on a like real life PC. So yeah, like there are many reasons why like using virtual machines is good. It's very good for testing purposes. So say if you suspect that a software contains a virus, then just simply load it onto your virtual machine, test it out, and then like the good thing is that like you can revert back to old forms of the virtual machine. So like there's this thing called screenshots. I believe it's here. Yeah, take snapshot, and that basically saves the state of the virtual machine right now. And if something goes wrong in the future, then you can just revert back to this, and everything will be okay. That's one benefit, and also most people use it for scam baiting. Like if you're if you're very familiar with the scam baiting community, then they use virtual machines to talk to them scammers from India, and like do all that stuff instead of doing it on their real PC, because obviously those scammers want to gain remote access to your PC and then do all their stuff. So it's a good way to do scam baiting as well. Like you can waste their time just by letting them mess with a completely empty PC that just has a plain operating system on it. And also, like there are many other benefits. I mean, just like now, like like you just install old operating systems and see what they were like to use back then without having to tamper with your actual PC files. So this is a good way to do that as well. So there are many benefits to running like running stuff on a virtual machine. So simply I can just exit out of Windows 3.1, and there we go. I can just shut the virtual machine down. If we go to close and then a power off the machine, then there we go. That's it, and all our system resources will go back to normal. So yeah, so that, as you can see, my RAM just went down to 5.1 gigabytes, even though it was 5.6. So, and then also, like here you can see that the CPU is gotten less, like using less power a bit. So yeah, it's very evident that this works perfectly. So yeah, like like you can mess about with loads of other operating systems. There's more than Windows. There's even Linux. Those are easy to install. Just whack in the ISO file and then you're good to go. Some operating systems like Mac OS X are a bit more harder to install. Same thing for IBM OS 2. But I mean, other than that, just have fun with this virtual machine. Now that I've taught you how to do it, I hope I can make more videos like this in the future. Just like just for the technical people, maybe some editing guides. I might get into all this soon. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys found this useful, and let me know in the comments what you think of it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.